SIUE head women's coach Samantha Quigley Smith, fourth season with the Cougars, 10 returning players this year. Coach, just some thoughts on your team. We'll go to some questions after that.
Yeah, just really excited for all the hard work that they've been putting in, and just our staff, just from a development of this group. Obviously, 10 players returning, I would say, is very unique in this college basketball landscape. So to have so many returners and have that experience, really feel like it's going to pay off this season. Have a little bit better non-conference schedule, I would say, just in terms of prepping us, getting ready for the OVC. A little bit less of a bear than the last three have been, which I'm sure our players, family, and friends are excited about. Still have another really good, tough stretch in that non-conference right before the OVC starts. But yeah, just really excited for the group as a whole, just because of how veteran we are. We've got 4 seniors, one of which that has been here for 4 years, another that's been here for 3 years. So just really excited for that experience to pay off here. Looking forward to the season.
Thanks, Coach. We got some questions, and we're going to go to Steve Porter first. Steve, wherever you got, go ahead and ask.
Morning, Coach. How are you?
Good. How are you? Good to see you.
Yep, doing well. What do you see as the keys to your success and having so many players returning? Will you be able to do some more things than maybe you were able to do in the past, or some new things, so to speak?
Yeah, I would say the combination of both new things, but also being able to execute and be able to do things with more players. We had a really small roster last year, had some injury ridden things that just kind of wouldn't go away. And so just to be able to have options, we have a 17 player roster this year, which is the biggest roster I've had here at SIUE. Takes me back to my Division II and NAIA days, which I absolutely loved. So I feel like this was a really great move on our staff's part in putting together a group that gives us options, gives us and our players a lot of opportunity to showcase what they can do and what they can contribute to our program. And so I would say that's the biggest thing. But also this veteranness, I think this is really special to have a group that's been here for a while and have players that have been in your program for consecutive seasons. They understand what you're asking as a coach. They understand what the program is about and where we want it to be. And they're really excited about being that team and that program that takes things to another level for SIUE women's basketball. And so I think more than anything, it's just like this excitement as a coach that we finally built it and we got it to this place. And now comes the work, and hopefully the success of that work will show through with all of our players, but in particular, the veteran players that have been here for a few years.
Let's go to Matt Camp next. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Hi.
Macy Sylvie's been in the program now. This will be her 3rd year. Really saw her take a step up last year with KK's absence. Just what do you anticipate out of Macy coming into this year?
Yeah, something similar, but also this experience that she got last year when it came to playing time, being on the floor, being a primary scorer for us, especially when KK went down, and Macy taking her game to another level and to be able to do multiple things really, really well. I think she kind of came in something much more than that. She can rebound, she can guard, she can be that strong bodied guard that's on the floor that can help make you guys really stable. And she's the type of player that isn't going to do anything that she's not capable of doing. She's going to work hard. She's going to put in all of the effort that you need. And she's really, really going to compete. And I know that comes from her sisters and her family a little bit, that I'm sure she had some really fun one-on-one games with them growing up. I think she's transforming into a different type of player where, grade school, high school, she was the shooting Sylvie. All she did was shoot. And now she's got some different part to her game where she can put it on the floor. She can crash the glass and finish at the basket. And so I'm just really excited for her future. And I'm excited that she stayed here and that she wanted to do this in her own hometown, because I think so many of our women in this area, they go away, and then maybe they call us a couple years later and want to come back home. We've got some that have done that. So just really excited for Macy and what she's going to do this season for us.
Kyle, I can't find the chat thing on here, so I'm just going to jump in. I'm used to Microsoft Teams, so sorry about that. Coach, other than having the best broadcaster in the OVC, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
First of all, I chatted with KK a little bit, and I know that she was reticent at first about wanting to come back. She's back. She's excited about the season. One, talk about her commitment to that I mean, that's hard after 5 years to go through that kind of rehab, to come back for another season. Talk about her commitment to doing that and why she did that. And then secondly, how important was it for your team to have KK just not just on the floor, but as a part of this roster?
Yeah, definitely. And it was 6 years, Randy. So this is 7.
Yeah.
This is year 7 for her.
This is 7. Okay.
Year 7 for her. And so I would just say her impact when she was actively playing, even at the beginning of last season, was just like, it was a different vibe with our group and our program and our team, because, you know, she was someone who transferred, you know, who not necessarily was, you know, came in and had a really smooth transition. And so like she went through some adversity even here. And so to get herself to a place of playing her very best basketball going into her senior year was just so awesome for our team to see, and to see that all this hard work paid off. I mean, she was living in the gym. She's living in the gym right now. And so to see that hard work pay off and our women get to like, wow, she had like multiple 30-point games. You know, she was a nation's leading scorer next to Caitlin Clark and Cameron Brink and Anissa Morrow, you know. And so for our women to be able to see like a real life example of, if you put in the hard work, if you show up every day, if you stay here late, if you get here early, what happens? You know, what is the extra work and what is the result of all those things? I do think it was really difficult for her because, you know, she was at this moment of, this is going to be my senior year and then I'm going to go on with my life. And then this, you know, this huge thing happened that ended her basketball career for that senior year. And you could tell like she was in that transitional period of trying to figure out if she still wanted to play basketball or if she just wanted to move on, you know. And I think a lot of conversations she had with myself, with our assistant, specifically Ariel, and like she's really good friends with like an Asia Wilson. Her dad is like a photographer for the NBA. Like she's around basketball 24/7. And so I think for her, it was so much about like, I'm not done with this yet. Like, that's not how I'm going to go out. That's not how this is going to end for me. Like, I want this to end on my own terms, you know. And now in her mind, like she wants to play pro. So she transformed. She went from one place of potentially being done playing basketball forever to like, I'm going to make a life of this. I'm going to make a career of this, you know. So just really amazing to see her development, not just on the basketball court, but also as a young woman who now is grown into, you know, one of the best leaders I've ever coached, you know. And it's unfortunate that she had to go through an injury to kind of get to that place, but she is someone that will forever, I would say, go down in SIUE's kind of record books as one of the best captains and leaders we've had.
For sure. And I wanted to ask you another question too about, I know last year a lot of the young players and inexperienced to the program players had to get a lot of minutes. You had a thin roster. You went through a lot of injuries off and on throughout the season. But now coming into this year, how valuable was that playing experience last year coming into this year?
Definitely. I mean, they were able to be on the floor and to learn from their mistakes, and also, you know, be in those moments and those experiences that were like, that was a 4-point loss. That was a 6-point loss. Like that was a 2-point loss. And so getting to have those game and tight game experiences, you know, again, I think this team is like, they're just like sick of losing those games, you know, and they're feeling like this is going to be a season that we're going to take this to a whole nother place. And because of those experiences that they've had, getting to use that and fuel their fire moving forward here.
Get some follow-ups. We'll go back to Steve. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Coach, to be a good team, a really good team, what do you need to improve the most?
For us specifically, I would say to go from average to good to great, we need to defend better. We need to guard people. I would say like, we're going to be a team that can score. We have a lot of scorers. We have players who can put the ball in the basket. You know, I think we led the league in 3-point shooting attempts, and we're top 3 or 4 in percentage. Like, so we're going to put the ball in the basket. You know, for us as a staff and a head coaching, myself as a head coach, like we've got to guard and we've got to rebound. You know, like our rebounding battle can't be a tie. It can't be, we lost the boards by 4 or 5, you know. So those two main things, defending and rebounding, I would say are going to be two of the biggest indicators of our success. You know, can we hold people, you know, under 80 or 90? Because I think we can score 80 or 90, but are we going to be able to hold people under 80 or 90?
And Matt has a follow-up too. Go ahead.
Kind of building off one of Randy's questions, is an interesting dynamic where KK was a superstar for you last year before the injury, and everyone has to step up when she exits. Now, what's that change with her back in the lineup this year when you have kids that kind of know what it also takes now to do what they need to do to take over a game?
Yeah, I think it's great just to have that experience, and KK is bringing that too a little bit. While she's not completely recovered and back yet, but she's going to be bringing that when she is. I would say more than anything, it's just like knowing what it is that it takes and what is needed, and being able to share that then with transfers, with freshmen, with underclassmen that, like we have a freshman and a transfer that are going to play a lot. And so getting to share those moments with them and letting them know, and this will be a little bit unique because we're going to have a roster and a team that has a lot of experience, but it's also going to be, there's going to be players that last year, because of our numbers and things, were playing 30 minutes that are probably not going to play 30 minutes anymore. And so they're going to go, somewhere between the 17 to 25 minute mark. And now what are they going to do in between that time? Are they going to, be helping teammates on the bench? Are they going to be chatting with people at halftime and in timeouts and like getting them on the right page to be great teammates? And because we all want to win, like they've all said this a lot, like we want to win, like all their goals, like they're saying, we want to win. And it's like, okay, well, when our backs are against the wall and like things are tough, like, do you want to win? Or are you going to be about you, And so our group, I think having that experience last year is going to be really instrumental in like providing that experience and showing that to our group. And then even being in that exact moment, you're down, 3 with 3 minutes left. Like, how do you respond? What has to happen in those last 3 minutes? That didn't happen last year. I would say this group has had a lot of that experience, which is great.
We got a couple more minutes of coach. If anybody has other follow-up, Randy, go. I see you raise your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. Coach, in non-conference, you get to go to DePaul, and that's where you played. That's where you graduated from. You're going to be. That's where you kind of made your name as one of the elite basketball players in that conference. And you learned a ton from that head coach there, and you get to go now play at your alma mater. You get to bring your team there. How special is that going to be for you personally?
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a little nerve-wracking, probably, but just really cool. And it's not, I would say it wasn't just about myself, but it was about our Chicagoland women getting to come home too. Getting to play. We got to play at Loyola last year, and that was an awesome experience. But getting to bring a Molly Sheehan home, a Megan Fay, they like just to be able to have that hometown crowd when you're away is really, really awesome. And so for me, I think it was like an easy yes. I'm surprised they said yes. But just all around, just being able to be back in those facilities and those gyms, practice at the place that I played at, the day before. So that will be a really cool experience for myself, but also our team. And then obviously I had an assistant coach that was here with me for a year, 2 years, and then he decided to go back up home, who's my head coach, Doug Bruno's son. And so getting to see all of them again, a lot of the same people are on staff that coached me, and so just getting to see all of those individuals will be a really awesome experience. I think I got all the Chicagoland girls. Is it Molly, Megan? Oh, Galuza too. We'll be able to come home and they'll have a huge crowd out there. I don't know how many tickets they're going to give us. They might make the game free. I hope they make the game free so everybody can come.
Coach, tell us about your charity exhibition game with SIUE and just about that and how that came about.
Yeah, our staffs, we're pretty close. We talk over the summertime in recruiting, and this was a idea that they kind of brought up to us. Was originally going to be at their place, and then we decided to host it. And so much about this game. And if you knew Division I and what the rules are, you can only play a Division I in an exhibition if it's a charity game. And so NCAA wise, we had to get this approved. And we really wanted to try to help an organization in our area and be able to do something substantial for them. And so from a contribution standpoint, anything that's raised that day will go to them, which is really cool. But Ray's Cafe and Redefining Independence helps individuals with disabilities in our area. So it helps them find jobs. You know, there's a cafe in our YMCA in Edwardsville that where all of the individuals with disabilities actually work, and they make the food, and they prepare everything. And then there's also a connection with Edwardsville High School. My husband is a special education teacher, and there's a small facility in there called the Tiger Den at Edwardsville High School, which is right across the street from SIUE, that works with students with disabilities too. So much of it was just about trying to help an organization in our area. We have a really good friend and neighbor that also works with individuals with disabilities. So much of it was just about trying to help someone that was close to home, you know, and be able to contribute to them in some way.
Anybody, Steve, you have one more follow-up? Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Coach, how do you see the OVC? Are there some clear-cut favorites, or is it sort of a free-for-all?
Yeah, you know, I kind of feel like with Southern Indy returning so many players, I think they're definitely a favorite. And what Coach Stein has done in his few years there, talk about retention. I mean, he's had it. He's had players return and come back to his program. And I've known him for years from our D2 days and being in the GLVC together when I was at Lewis. So very familiar with their program. But then after that, I kind of feel like there's a lot of parity. There's some, you know, there's some movement with players transferring and players coming in. And so it's kind of up in the air, you know, for us to be in a position of 8. I think that was really great for our team and program to see, like, we've got some hills to climb, and we've got to put ourselves in position to be in, you know, the top 5 and top 3 in the league, which I feel like are real possibilities this year. But yeah, it's kind of an up in the air year, I would say, just in terms of, you know, after Southern Indy and what teams have lost and what they've gained, and kind of not really sure what players and teams are going to be like, which I think makes it really fun as an OVC competitor and a coach, just to be able to walk into every game and feel like, hey, like, we can win this game, like, win every game.
Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck to you and your team this season.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I don't know, Matt or Steve, Randy, if you guys want to mention, this is just like a small food for thought here. My sister-in-law is playing for the New York Liberty, and they're in game 4 on Friday night. So I don't know if anything will be written before then, but if they go to a game 5, it would be on Sunday. But Courtney Vandersloot married my sister Allie. And so we're big New York Liberty fans. So hopefully the Liberty will bring home a championship here in the next few days. But just a whirlwind of what women's basketball has been in the last year and a half. Just amazing. You know, after the game, they did like a little interview with Scott Van Pelt and Brianna Stewart. I don't know if anybody watched it, because when the game's over, sometimes people just turn it off. But Scott Van Pelt was like, the entertainment of women's basketball right now is off the charts. Like, just with all the games, with obviously the Caitlin Clark effect, the USA team winning the gold, just a phenomenal, and obviously we have a really substantial player that's from our area, Incarnate Word, Nafisa Collier, who's in the championship, the finals right now too, that's playing for Minnesota, that's playing against my sister-in-law, the New York Liberty. So I would just like would love to mention just like where women's basketball is right now. And I know we won 5 games, but we're going to be a lot more entertaining to watch this year. And it's going to be exciting to come out to our arena and watch our women play. So I just want to stress that women's basketball is taking off, and you're missing out if you don't come see.